Hello, everyone. Today we are very glad to invite Dr. Kimberly from A Still Voice. Actually, we are singing birds, and at the same time, we both are scientists. So a lot of similarities are coming here. That's bring us here. And Dr. Kim is the president of Still Voice International. I know a lot of singing birds are across the world. No, it's still here, and very strong and powerful. And Dr. King got the master degree in speech communication uh, from Pennsylvania State University and got a PhD from the Department of Communication Science and Disorders at the University of Pittsburgh. So we know a lot of expertise are in this webinar, but we are trying to make it like acceptable and simple for everyone so every audience can benefit a bit, not only in their professionalship, but also in their daily life. Okay, now welcome, Dr. King.
Thank you, Dr. Young. It is a pleasure and an honor to join you. I'm so pleased that you offer these seminars merging art and science. And like you said, we're from the same team, art and science, and we'll try to put it all together bit by bit, as some people say. I am so grateful to be here today to talk about music, language, communication, vocal flexibility, vocal health tips, some voice motor control and learning, and translational research in communication science and disorders. Don't forget also, you had on that list the power of diction. And good news, I can integrate it all into our time together. So, you asked first about the vocal flexibility, right? We're all here. We all have the same parts. So it starts with my crazy journey. And my journey was started with vocal flexibility when I was born. So when I was born, when you were born, we all used the same natural sound. Wah! Wah! I hope I didn't click because it was kind of like a belt. It was a cry. And then after that, we nurtured our voice from our parents, from our community, from our culture, from the geographic city, town that we live in. And so after those first natural sounds, we start to merge. We add nurture. And so I loved to sing always after I was born. Then I started singing on the playground, making all kinds of sound, singing all kinds of music. And my parents were very excited, and they're musicians too. So they said, we like this singing, but how about learn an instrument as well? So I learned piano. I also learned the oboe and also played the flute and some percussion. So I sang and played instruments all of my life before I went to college. But Dr. Young, what's my favorite instrument? The voice. So I'm very excited. I am preparing for college. And remember, I'm singing all different types of music, all theater. And but when I prepare for college, all of the entrance exams, you have to sing classical music. Even though my parents suggested I get a music education degree because that would be, again, a job to fall back on, even in music education, to teach young children our vocal training at the university is with classical voice. So I prepare my audition. I'm very excited. I get into all of my universities. I go to the Indiana University of Pennsylvania for music education. I major in voice, I minor in piano, and I'm very excited because now, as you know, I am going to learn the right way to sing. I'm in college. People are smart. So I'm okay. I go to my voice lesson with my voice professors. I'm very excited. And they say, well, I see you sing a lot of different things. I'm glad you're here because you're going to learn classical music. And that will provide a technique for everything you do. And be careful about the other kinds of singing you do because that may ruin your voice. Okay, so I'm a little nervous, right? It may ruin my voice. I go to my choir rehearsals. I'm very excited because I have auditioned and I've made the highest choirs. I'm very excited. And I'm at the top choir and we start singing and my choir director says, "Kim, have you been at your private classical voice lesson lately? I can tell because you're sticking out. You're not blending in with the choir." Now, we love those classical operatic lessons, but you better be careful because singing that type of music may ruin your voice for singing in choir. So there I am. I'm in college. I'm learning conflicting information, but that's okay. I do what I can in my voice lesson. I do what I can in the choir. I change my voice, and then I change my voice again. Maybe a little secretly, Dr. Young, because I don't know why I'm whispering on the Zoom. No one's here,
Whisper
but I
in
think
the morning and also in the song.
And so anyway, I'm whispering because I didn't want my teachers and professors to hear that I had to make money. I had to make money, and so I sang and played in restaurants and maybe some bars and popular music. And sometimes the restaurant managers and my friends who would come, they would say, "Kim, have you been singing in your choir? Have you been singing at that classical voice lesson? We can tell. And you better stop all of that fancy training because it's going to ruin your voice." What? So I thought, okay, everyone is, I make it to my senior. I do, Dr. Young, what probably others did. I sang the way my opera teacher wanted me to sing in that lesson. I sang the way my choir teacher, I moved my parts, changed them for choir. And then when I sang in my restaurants and other establishments, I changed my voice there. And then my senior year, I'm introduced and interested. I'm introduced to this woman scientist, a brilliant scientist, a brilliant educator, and a fabulous soprano recitalist, toured all over the world. And guess what she said?
Mm.
She said, "We can sing anything. We all have the same parts. It's just how we move them and mix them together that informs the sounds we're going to make." So all singing is putting your spaces in the right places. As my founding partner of Estel said, Mary McDonald Klimek, she loved to say, just put your spaces in the right places and you will be making different qualities, different sounds. Well, Joe Estel not only had this, she was merging art and science, but she had this cookbook for voice quality. And we would mix up a twang, we would mix up an opera, we would mix up a falsetto, we'd mix up a speech quality, and we'd mix up a sob quality, very specifically using exercises. So I can kind of pause my journey right now, Dr. Young, if it's okay, and
Mm.
kind of show you the inspiration from Joe Estel and the Estel voice model that was based in science. It was not what Joe Estel said. She didn't say, "Do it my way." It was what Joe Estel read from the other scientists, from those who were working. She worked with Dr. Honda, Dr. Colton, Dr. Yanagasawa, the best researchers in the best labs in the world. And so this is a compilation, the foundation for voice production, the science, the voice science. We teach people to sing with the voice exercises based on the voice science. So let's go to the voice model.
Mm.
This voice model is, again, very accessible. People, as you said, may be a little frightened. No need to be frightened. I'm going to take you to the basics right now, and I think it would be better to share screen. I will do that right now.
Mm. Yeah.
And I will go here. You will sing some screen share music. I
Yeah.
don't hear your screen share music, Dr. Young. I thought you were gonna hum.
Da-da-da-dong. Yeah.
And we will go to ta-da. Here we are. Or ta-da. Or ta-da. Again, same instrument. Oh, no, no. Same parts, different instruments. Closer to a trumpet, closer to a flute. So, what is this? What is this model based in science? So, again, the Estel voice model is how the voice works. When we exercise, we work the voice. So, what happens here? In voice science, in the craft of voice, we have anatomy and physiology. We have acoustics in the middle. So, anatomy and physiology. Dr. Yang, let's find your anatomy.
Hmm.
Put your
Hmm.
finger on your chin, and put it down and feel the bumps in your neck, Dr. Young and everybody, anyone. And that guess what that is? That's your thyroid cartilage.
Hmm.
That's your larynx. That's your voice maker.
Hmm.
So we found our voice makers in our throat and our speech makers in our mouth. So the voice model, the Estel voice model is based on looking at the anatomy and physiology, those parts in your voice box, in your mouth box, in your nose box, in your torso and head and neck box that make salient changes in voice quality. So just hold that thought. In voice research, you study, as you may know, anatomy and physiology. But guess what? When you move it, you make a sound. That's the only way to make sound. It's movement. You are dancing with your voice parts. So we're going to dance with our voice parts. And when we do that, guess what we make from I'm going to do our little hand signal for our vocal folds. We make a sound wave. And anything we move, we can see on a spectrogram, a power spectrum, on all different types of visual feedback. And I'll share that with you soon. So, just to recap, anatomy and physiology, we're going to move it, right? Move it, move it. We're going to then go to acoustics. And this is still in the craft. You're thinking, Kim, where's the artistry? Just wait, just wait. This is just to make a sound. So in our acoustics, we see the sound wave. We'll see it go higher, lower, darker, brighter, all of that we can see in the sound wave. And Dr. Young, you
Hmm.
have movement and sound wave before you hear it.
Hmm.
Then we have audio perceptual studies, and that's about auditory perceptual, that's the sound, the quality. But Dr. Young, in my and in your training, we always work on the sound. Can
Hmm.
you make the sound? Now imitate the sound. Make the sound, imitate. What we're going to do first is move the parts that make the sound. And anyone can do it. And the beauty is, in my undergraduate work, when I student taught, I was fortunate to student teach with Dr. Ron Bevan, who is at Columbia University, getting his PhD, and his dissertation was the difference between chest voice and belt, acoustic, physiologic, and perceptual differences. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got a student teach with Dr. Ron Bevan. He is teaching choirs in his high school, right? 13-year-old, 12, 14, 15, with the Estel voice model. So I learned this in 3 months, following him, teaching his choir, knowing that students of all ages can move those parts, Dr. Young. They can move those parts. They have control over it. And then they can mix so many beautiful sounds, the sounds for Mozart, the sounds for Sondheim. They mixed them and performed so beautifully and really with confidence. They had control. So, oh, but Dr. Young, guess what my professor said?
Yeah.
You can go and student teach with Dr. Ron Bevan and use that Estel voice model,
Mhm.
but you better be careful because he's belting. And I said, thank goodness. I love to belt. And he's also operaing, and he's also jazzing and falsettoing and every other of those sounds. So it was very, very exciting. All right, so here we are. What does that mean? That means this. In the Estill voice model, when we start, Dr. Young, we make sounds. We must sound before you sing. You were wondering where I was going when I said, hey, I'm born, right? Well, when they're born, we all have the same parts. They're a little different developmentally. We don't have the layers of the vocal fold developed yet when you're born. You just have a set of those muscles, a set of lungs. And so you can be loud and tell your mom, I'm hungry, I'm happy, I'm sad. And then things change. But we all have the same parts and develop them. It's how we move it to make the sound wave, and then we hear it. So in the craft, we only make sounds. In our first, again, when we learn it, we do this like, yeah, 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 yeah. Go ahead, Dr. Young.
Nya, nya,
Yeah.
nya, nya.
And then we go, what's the opposite of that? Oboe? That would be more like maybe it's a warm French horn. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go for it, Dr. Yang.
Nya, 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 nya.
Did I need to pull out my oboe and then a French horn? No, because Dr. Young, you
Hmm.
made an oboe and French horn with your throat. Kind of, sort of, right? We're bringing the science into it. You moved it. I want to stop sharing screen so we can work and see faces after this. So that's the craft, Dr. We just make the sound and then we sing. Somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over. We do all different sounds first before we put it into the song. And that is artistry.
Hmm.
When I went first to, again, when I went to school and went to my lessons, I think we talked about right now my, so there we go.
Hmm.
Got it, cleared the throat. When we went to school to learn about the voice, we learned about songs, not about the voice. We learned to sing in French, Italian, Spanish. We learned music, but not about the voice. And in Esta voice training, we learn about the voice. So we are going to bring in songs, but only after vocal athlete, like athletes train, only after you go to the voice gym
Hmm.
and learn to move your parts. We learn our biceps and triceps at the body gym, at the sports gym. At our voice gym, we learn to raise the larynx and lower. We'll do that after I stop sharing screen. But in voice training, we mostly work through songs. If you do that, you're putting an extra cognitive load, right? You're saying you have to sing a song, you have to know notes, you have to know pitches, and then you might have to sing in different languages. And you might have to act and move. And we're saying at the voice gym, take it out. Just make sounds before song, as our colleague Dr. Brian Winnie says with his brilliant choirs at Western Illinois University, sound before you sing. So this is the artistry, the loud soft. Dr. Young, you're interested in flow.
Hmm.
This performance magic is flow. If you are nervous that your voice is going to crack, that you might have some allergies and you're going to have some phlegm on your throat, then you're never going to get to this comfortable zone,
Hmm.
right? Kind of singing and speaking where time stops, where you're totally present, um, and where the audience gets chills. Performance magic is that flow and zone. But if you are uncomfortable at all with how the voice works with your voice, or you're not sure of the music, how can you get here? And Joe Estill was actually most interested in the flow, oddly, but she found she would be interrupted if she did not understand how her voice worked. And so I am going to show you before we do it parts of your voice, and then we'll stop the screen share and we'll do it.
Hmm.
We have 13 parts of the voice that we can move. Now you think that sounds like a lot, but it's not. We have our, let's go to the fifth floor. So we're going to go to the top of our voice penthouse. I call this our voice house. And here we have the first floor, our true vocal folds, and we have our second floor, our false, our third floor, the areoepiglottic sphincter, our fourth floor, the tongue, and our fifth floor, the velum, soft palate. And then on this is like a fun home. I don't know if it's circus. You go through these houses and the floors drop out and it's kind of they shake or you see funny mirrors. So also, Dr. Young, these cartilages, the cricoid and the thyroid, they can shift and move like an earthquake inside our house. So we can drop out the basement. And when we do that, when we move this, Dr. Young, guess what happens? Do you notice that belters look up?
Yeah.
Hey, hey. Yes, that actually helps shift this, moves these little vocal folds thicker, and then you're closer to a belt. Is it more than that? Of course, but we start there. Dr. Young, if you are, if you're going to be very sweet and go, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, happy birthday to you. And if you're going to be very sweet, put your finger on your Adam's apple, this thyroid notch, it tilts forward and it thins everything out. Do it, Dr. Young. That's right. So we could be at a surprise party with a sweet child and we could go, yay, happy birthday. Say it.
Happy birthday.
Right. But guess what? If this is tilted just a little bit and this little part, and look how high, you don't know this is high yet until I show you another picture. But if you swallow,
Mm.
you feel your larynx move.
Mm.
Your larynx is mobile. And when you keep it high, when that little notch almost goes up into your, I say it almost goes up into your mouth. It doesn't, of course, but yes, then you get, yeah, yeah, happy birth surprise, happy birthday. Say it.
Donald Duck.
Oh, and you're Donald Duck too. But if you're Donald Duck with an extra piercing, yeah, witchy witch, yeah, yeah, yeah. And even,
I'm Donald.
oh my goodness, the larynx gets high and narrow. But not only that happens, the tongue moves, but we want to remind people that the back of the tongue is the front of the throat. And this larynx has to be free to go up and down for pitches in all voice qualities. So we're going to keep the words in our mouth, the voice in our throat, and never have to modify a vowel. We're not going to change an ah and a high note because we're not an instrument. We have text. And you have to understand happy birthday on a high note and happy birthday on a low note. So we're not going to go happy birthday. We're not going to go birthday because mouths don't sing, they speak and vocal folds do. So we're going to move the tongue in our mouth, happy birth, and that high note, we're still going to do an right? We're not going to go birthday. You don't have to change a vowel because voice is made in your throat, words in your mouth. A lot of info. Okay, so this is that high. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Happy. So at the surprise party, yay! Happy birthday! Go ahead, Dr. Young.
Happy birthday.
And then guess what happens? Oh no. Did you see? Look at this. Watch this per bouncing larynx. Watch this.
Oh.
Wow. Hey, doctor, I wanted you to do. Oh my gosh, I could. We did not rehearse that, correct?
We
So,
did
Dr.
not.
Young,
This is live. Guys, this is live.
this is totally. You're gonna
This
see
is
totally
live and we are alive.
live. And look what happened. I couldn't have asked for a better. We went, whoops, whoops. I'm gonna go here. We went, yay, happy birthday, and then when this happened, whoa, your larynx got lower, and actually. You went, yay, happy birthday. So let's do a surprise. I'm sobbing child. Yay, happy birthday.
Happy birthday or sad birthday.
So, so can you hear? So stopping here, do you see it's moved? Do you see how wide this is? Do you see
Ah.
how low the larynx
It's quite
got?
like a house, not a flat or, it's a house.
It's a house and it's moving and all of the parts are moving and this big space here is making a darker sound. Our other one that high, that little space is like an oboe reed, which is a tube on top of a tube. I had to bring the oboe since, of course, I played oboe. But here we go, down to here. And look how high. Did you notice this? Whoops, sorry everybody. Did you notice part of this? Yeah, yeah, came through your nose. Put your finger on your nostril. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Part of that. Yes, that sound came through your nose. And then when you went, oh no, the sound didn't come. Oh, oh my. Oh wait, happy birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to
Yes.
you.
Can you, oh, Doctor, yeah, oh, yes. Can you see now how the sounds, we're just going to make sounds like, oh no, or oh no. And we're going to play with those sounds. Do you see how they can be a main ingredient, a setting, a recipe for different styles of music? You
Mm,
went right to opera, didn't you? This is a component of opera, but Dr. Young, if you need to, this is very soft. It is very weak. If you wanted to make it opera, you're going to have to lift the larynx a bit and narrow this spot to cut through an orchestra. That is too much information right now. But
yeah,
just
especially for the audience. Yeah.
especially, wait, before here, I'm going to, again, you can tell this is not rehearsed. Can you see the child? These are the parts that we move. I would just like to say we can feel them. We go in through all learning modes, Dr. Young. We
Mm,
feel it, we see it, we hear it. Because some people are auditory learners, some are bodily kinesthetic. So we have exercises to get through all modes of learning so that you can get to the zone and be present, not only in training, but in performance. And then this is our default setting. Right now, Dr. Young,
yeah.
you have a certain comfortable speaking voice in English. And then you have a comfortable setting, default, for your speaking voice in Mandarin or Cantonese?
Yeah, Mandarin. Yeah, I
In
speak
Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yeah.
And you have a professional,
Mm.
and you might have a friend voice. So Kim is from Pittsburgh. That's so I am from Pittsburgh, and we actually talk a little bit like this.
Ah,
Hey everyone!
oh, really? That's the more like dialect, local, local
Yeah,
sound culture.
that's culture. And so actually, with my family,
Mm.
we always belted everything. An opera aria, we belted because this is the way we talked. Kimmy, what are you doing today? Hey,
Time.
yes. But you would be annoyed if I used Kim attractor state default setting for our interview. If I talk like, oh my goodness, I'm like, right? You might go, okay,
This is not good for an interview. This is gonna be
right. You might
tough.
say that's not right. But if I talk like this with my friends, they go, Kim, where are you? Well, why are you being so formal? And that is the essence of voice training. One, we all have the same parts, Dr. Young. We all have the same parts, and it's how you move them. That again, first you set it up. So with the power, you have a power, a breath, you have a source, the vocal folds, they just are like that, and you have a filter, the resonator. The Resonator. Do you love that movie, The Resonator?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that was
love the resonator.
I'll be back. That was the Terminator. Sorry, but the resin. If you cut your head off for Halloween, I'll do a scary. Pretend you cut your head off. Your two little vocal folds that do this at A440, 440 times a second. At higher, 880 times a second. 1,000. They do this open and close over 1,000 times a second, sopranos coloratura, right? And when you're lower, 100, 200 times a second. But without your spaces, without your resonating spaces, they sound like this. They're just high or low buzzers. Then you have to put your spaces on. And Dr. Young, if you are going, so think about that in the model, just to tie it all together. Think about that. If you have to move your your parts to put them in different spaces, right?
Mm,
Then would you pre-phonatory tune? Would you set up your breath the same if you were singing a pop song by who's your favorite pop singer?
Beyonce. I like Beyonce.
Oh, okay. If you're going to go the Queen Bee, so if you're going to go Beyonce,
Yeah.
are you going to sing Halo, Beyonce, right? You're going to sing
Mm,
that song. Are
mm.
you going to take this breath, or are you going to take one that's closer to our twang,
Sweet friend.
right?
Mm,
So understand that we do need breath, but the team has to work together. So we don't talk about breath control, breath management. You saw how teeny that larynx. Remember, the vocal folds are about the size of your thumbnail.
mm.
That's a teeny, teeny, tiny vocal tract and spaces. If you always take a very deep, like everyone says, just take a deep breath from the diaphragm, it will set up everything. Not if everything is doing this and the larynx is going up.
Mm,
The breath free vary. So the breath for Beyonce,
mm.
put your finger on your chin and go to your Adam's apple. Maybe let's just say halo. I'm just picking halo. Okay.
Mm.
So we'll say, or yeah, we could say Beyonce singing happy birthday if we want to be say,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, really? I didn't heard it. Never heard, but yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it would sound like, right?
Yeah.
So she goes, hey, I'm Beyonce, right? She doesn't go, hey, I'm Beyonce. And she doesn't go, hey, I'm Beyonce. She's right here.
Mm,
So you have to take that breath if you're going to say halo,
mm,
halo. And then if you're going to sing halo, right?
mm.
You're not going to do this because that is
Hello. Oh, no.
and you're not going to go hollow because that's changing your tongue. It's
Mm.
still going to change halo, halo.
Hello.
Yes, you don't have to change your tongue. Your tongue's a bully. It is attached to the larynx and the palate, but we're going to move the tongue in our mouth so we can make whatever sound we want in our throat.
Mm.
And that is the key to ESTA voice training. You sound first. We use principles of motor learning and control it. We train like athletes. We feel it, we see it on the voice print, and then we hear it because once you start your vocal folds moving, it's like a soccer ball. You kicked it. You can't bring it back. So why don't you prep it? Everything we do in Estel, we do silently and then out loud. You
Mm.
can even hear. We don't want to hear all the breath, but these mics these days, they're right here, right? You can hear everything.
Yeah.
If I hear this breath for Halo, I know that you made a resonant, you made a low larynx, and Beyonce has a mid larynx,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And Dolly Parton has a higher larynx.
Yeah.
Halo.
Hey
But
now.
the word re and low hollow, that's a different word, right? And if you, yeah, one is halo, one is hollow. Well, hey, this is very funny, and we didn't practice this, but halo to hollow. So halo is again, the ring around, right? The angel. But the middle of the hole is hollow. That means it's not fun in English. I didn't even plan that. Dr. Young, I did not plan, everyone, I did not plan that. But it's a good one, right?
Yeah, that's
Because we don't want to make a dark song a sound with our tongue. We make it with our larynx, with our vocal folds, with the movement of that. So the word can always remain. Here's how, oh, we also have hand signals. Do this, Dr. Yeah. Swallow, keep your larynx high, and take a breath through a high larynx. Halo.
hello.
Oh, that was super high. Awesome. Now,
Super.
let your larynx drop a little bit like you just woke up.
Mm.
And it's not, that's me this morning. It's not you in the night. And now you breathe through that and then put your finger like this to go this finger, your other one. There you go. There you go. And that is halo. The
Hey,
larynx is halo.
hello.
And when you take your yawn breath, it's like halo.
Hello.
Yay! That was awesome. So on the same pitch, it's halo, halo, halo.
Halo, halo, halo.
Everyone will say you changed your pitch, but you didn't. You
No, I
just got
didn't.
dark and bright.
It's the same pitch, I think.
Right. Do you see how some people think like I have a really high voice, but it's actually very low? My larynx is high.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking at a very, very high pitch, but with a low larynx. But I
I
could be
can't
high
picture
pitch
that.
with a
Yeah.
high larynx. And that's what we do. So again, we don't have all the time in the world, but I wanted to bring you a little bit about this model based on science. This is not Joe Estel. Joe Estel observed it. The hypothesis was we all have the same parts, and here's the brilliance. We
Mm,
all can control them so
mm,
that we can practice like vocal athletes and then perform automatically once you practice and then end up in flow, in the zone, because you're not worried. Halo, although we do want a halo, right? So to go
oh,
halo, so halo, we're just changing the first floor. Our vocal folds are going, hey, halo, halo. So that's another part of it. Sometimes you want your voice to crack, sometimes you don't. But if you don't know how to do it and then undo it,
mm,
you'll never get in the flow. You'll never be in the zone because you're worried you're going to go out of that. Like, I'm good, I'm feeling good. Oh, here comes the hard part. I'm out of it, right?
mm,
So, your preparation, your deliberate focus practice is one way to ensure successful performance, right?
mm,
Highly, again, at a superior level. So, if you practice with focus and intent at the voice gym without music, put it into music, and then pretty soon you're singing, you know what it feels like because also on stage, your ears lie to you. Your ears always lie to you. You don't hear yourself like others do. So you have to sing in your body and know how to feel it. Halo. Before
mm.
you sing it. Halo, 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 halo.
Hey.
Right. That you didn't do that with your tongue. Guess what happened? The first floor of your voice house, the true vocal folds, we have an exercise, went from thicker to stiffer abruptly. Hey, 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 hey. You can do that at every pitch in your range. And here's the beauty. You ready for this one?
So we are going to talk about like this. Every word should be halo.
Yeah. So you practice. Hey, 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 hey. You practice it with pitches. You go up and down, and then you switch it up, different pitches, right? Hey, 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 hey. That's what you do. And once you are comfortable with that vocal athlete, then you can
Hmm.
put it in halo. But if you're an opera singer, you want hey, you don't want that yodel. You don't want that break.
Halo.
Right.
Oh, no, this is not the style. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but
So
actually, is there any software you want to show us, like how it looks?
Dr. Young, before we're done, you
Yeah,
saved me. I was going there 3 times and then you brought up Beyonce and so
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like Beyonce. Yeah.
so Dr. Young, this is what you might say. You might say, well, Kim, that sounds good, but I don't believe you.
Yes.
Say, well, let's take a look.
Mm.
And how does it look there? Are we still good?
Yes, we're good.
And I'll make sure the sound very good. So I got all my settings. All right. Go
Mm.
here. All right. This is the word three. One, two, three.
Mm.
Do you see here at the bottom that our pitch is B flat 3? Can you see the bottom of the screen on this where it says
Yes.
frequency?
Yes.
I can't move the cursor, it'll go off, right?
Yeah.
So if I put it in the middle there, it's kind of A B flat, right? Depends where I
Yeah,
my
A3 now. Yeah.
yes, well, but you can see it. I got to get the
Yes.
cursor right.
I got a
So perfect.
frequency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's your pitch, and then the same thing down here. Yikes! 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 The yikes. There we
Mm.
go. I was kind of at
Mm,
Again, the same fundamental frequency, but why do these look so different?
mm,
This area right here, that's your 3 kilohertz. That's when these overtones, these are called harmonics, they
mm.
pass through. They pass through the filter and they are very strong, stronger than the lower frequencies. And you hear 3. And
Three.
then when you do this, you hear 3.
Three. Something
And
is
there's no, and the tongue stays in the same place, 3, 3. You don't go 3, thraw. It's 3 and 3. It's still an E. But look what happened. Look how dark it is in the higher spectrum. So these are just freak, right? You don't have any ring in your ear. And so when we practice, Dr. Young, we move the parts and then we look at this and say, how close am I? It is not magic. Your body will fail you. The feedback from your body will fail you. Your feedback from visual will fail you. Your feedback from your ear may fail you. But together, they're stronger. So, they're not all 100% accurate, any of our feedback mechanisms. And so, this helps. It's not one or the other. We use them in tandem. If I'm going to take a slice of bread, I'm going to take a slice of twang,
Mm,
Estel twang. Okay? Take a slice of twang. Oh, do you want to hear it? Let me play it for you
yeah. Yeah.
first. Let me go here.
Mm.
Three. Three. Okay.
Mm.
Wow. Well, I made a different instrument in my throat. My throat spaces moved. And then you can see it on the picture and you can see a shape. Dr. Young,
Mm.
every instrument has a certain shape, a spectral slope, a flute, ooh, oboe, ow. They all have a different shape, but they have to stay that shape because they're resonators. They're, again, the brass of the trumpet, the flute, the instrument of the flute, the bodies, they stay, they don't move. But our vocal instrument is amazing and it can move. So we can become an oboe, we can become a flute if you know how to move it.
It's
And
a,
so take a
it's
look
a
at this
mobile
slice.
instrument.
Pardon me?
It's a mobile
Oh,
instrument.
it's mobile. It's versatile. It is the key. And if I go here and I give you a slice, I'm going to turn this on its slide. Are you ready? You're going to sing this for me. It's One Moment in Time. Do you know that song?
One moment in time.
Nice.
Da, da.
Now, I would like you to sob it.
Okay.
One moment in time.
One moment in
And
time.
then something in between. One moment in time.
One moment in time.
Look at you, right?
Look at you. No.
You did that. Yeah, I know. You did that. Not be you are special, but everyone has a beautiful voice. My children, 585, you can move it. And when you learn how to move it and breathe through it and prep it, you're there. So this one looks like this. I'm going to turn it on its side. Look at that ring here. Look at this
Mm,
slope. This is my pitch, and look how it's really bright up here. But
mm,
if I go back and take a slice of what we would call closer to a sob quality, you can already tell, right, what's going to happen. When I take a slice, nothing. It's still the same pitch,
mm,
but it has a different shape.
mm.
And we can make all those shapes. If you can feel it, then you can see it and hear it. The rest of my career, Joe, I said, I'm moving to New York to become a star. And Joe Estel said, no, there are too many stars here. There are a lot of people. Please come and do research. I said, no, I want to be a star. And so, in the meantime, as I was prepping to go to New York, I got an assistantship, a research and teaching assistantship at Penn State. I
Mm,
could sing there. I could study the music in the music department, and I looked at the voice and voice science in speech pathology and in the voice lab. And the voice lab was in the Department of Speech Communication and Rhetoric. So I used voice for just speeches, for business calls, for lawyers, for rhetoric, but then went to the music department and still participated in their performances and won their concerto competitions, sang with the orchestra, but all the way studying voice. So then I went to go to New York again, and she said no, and I said yes. but I still sang and performed. And then I had an opportunity after my two boys were born and making all different sounds to start my doctorate at Pitt, where I brought together voice motor control and learning and also the voice science. And that was really interesting because I got to study how athletes uh, learn, how athletes improve their behavior. And second to practice, you know how to make someone better, a student? It's feedback. So my dissertation, my publications are not only on how the voice moves, but what kind of feedback helps a singer. Dr. Young, if you want your student to look really great at the end of her or his lesson,
Hmm.
then give a lot of feedback. Say, oh, that was good. You did this, do that. If you want them to look good for life, long-term learning,
Hmm.
zip it. The less feedback you give, they then process and they learn themselves. They might look worse at the end of the lesson, but
Hmm.
the research has shown, and my publications have also, again, supported that from the limb motor literature, is that the less amount of feedback you give, and we always want to, no, do this, no, do this, do it like me. If you
Hmm.
shut up a little bit, let them work through it. They might at the end be a little shaky, but for long term learning, they will have, again, benefited by increase in long term learning. Brought that together, used it in vocal health at the University of Pittsburgh Voice Center, where I helped people in surgery, then got my own thyroid cancer as we talked.
Hmm.
Use these exercises when they had to cut out my thyroid gland. You can see my scar. After my thyroidectomy, I said, I can't sing anymore. And then I thought, what did I tell my clients? Get back to it, practice your parts, move them again. Even though you're getting older, Kim, and I'm closer to 60 than 50, you
Oh,
might
you
get it
don't
back.
you look like 18.
Woo! Well, then I got, and Joe, and same with Joe Esther, her voice sounded like she was 20 when she was 80. So I used my same exercises. These exercises, this model brought me back, my clients back. It is tangible. We have we're growing body of research behind it. And I know I have to go. I am so thankful for this opportunity
Yeah.
to talk voice. Learn
Yeah.
again that everyone has a beautiful voice. If you learn how the voice works, then you can work the voice. You have control over that. And again, that's the beauty. We take away the music. Don't judge it. No aesthetic bias. If you don't tickle, scratch, cough, then make that sound. It might feel weird, but we look at vocal health, make sure you're, again, minimizing risks, and you go for it.
Yeah.
Wow, Dr. Young, it flew. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if it didn't fly for others, but thank you for this opportunity. You are wonderful. I can't wait to meet in person.
Yes,
Um,
me too. We are the voice. We are the children.
that's right, and that's probably all we should sing in case of,
Yeah.
copyright. So I
Yeah.
think that's short enough.
Yeah, this is a nice way to do a copyright. Never repeatable, even by ourselves.
There we go.
Yeah.
And so I would like to
Thank
say in our Estel voice qualities, I would like to say in our speech, Estel speech, thank you. With our
thank
hand signals in falsetto, thank you.
thank you.
Our sob, thank you. So this is
Thank
thin folds. Thank you. With
thank
here.
you.
In our twang, thank you.
Thank you.
In our belt, hey, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
And in opera, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Really? And this is the most weird voice webinar ever. But it's very good. That means,
Sotto voce, sotto
yeah,
voce, sotto
everyone
voce.
can have the vocal flexibility, right? So everyone can just having fun with your voice. It's quite like dancing. You are not only limited to one type of dancing. You once you have the legs, arms, even without legs, arms, if only you want to dance, you will dance according to your feeling, no matter which style of dance. Singing, voice is the same.
That's right. And it might feel weird, but when you know how to monitor your effort, when we know how to practice with focus intent, you have the world of voice
Yeah.
for your choice. Your voice is your choice, and your diction is your decision.
Nice. Nice slogans there. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you, Dr.
much.
Young.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll hope to talk more later on. Yeah, it will be continuously talking art and science. Many topics will be here. We will keep in touch and see what we can bring to the audience more later. Yeah.
So appreciate it. Please feel free to reach out. I really appreciated this. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to more.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you. Okay. Bye bye. See you next time. Bye. Thank you.